Today I wanted to show you the cutest little sketchbook in the world. This is a concertina sketchbook, so a little zigzag shape, handmade by yours truly. It's perfect for tiny drawings, small paintings, or even to make as gifts for those creative friends of yours. And the best bit is, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to make it, using just a few basic art materials that you probably already have at home. So, tiny sketchbooks, let's get making. So what you need is some thicker paper, such as watercolour paper or mixed media paper, with some kind of pattern or designer on to use as your cover. You'll need a small piece of ribbon, some cartridge paper to use from your pages, and I'm using a heavy cartridge paper that is 220 GSM, just so that it's got a little bit of body to it, and so that should you want to sketch on both sides of the paper, it will hold your sketches and not bleed through. Tools wise, cutting mat, metal ruler, craft knife or Stanley knife, pencil, bone folder or similar, and maybe a paintbrush and some glue as well. Now this sketchbook is 5 centimeters high by 4 centimeters wide. So using my ruler, I'm going to create some 5 centimeter strips, marking and using the cutting mat as my guide. So I'm going to draw 2 of these, and I'm just going to cut along my lines. We then need to fold that into its pages, which are 4 centimeters wide. So you can mark this with a pencil, or you can just go ahead and score it. So you can either use this bone folder, which is something you can buy in stationery shops, or something similar. And I'm just scoring, so pressing down without cutting the paper at the 4 centimeter marks, and this is creating my pages. And then I'm going to fold this one way, then the other way, to create a zigzag like this. Now if you find your zigzaggy piece of paper is perhaps not totally straight, you can do a little bit of trimming here. So you can grab your ruler and just trim the ends. So that is the amount of pages I would need for this small book here. If you would like a slightly longer concertina like this, you've guessed it, we need a second strip. So I'm just going to prepare this second strip of paper to join it. So bear with me a second whilst I do a little bit of scoring. I'm going to need to join these together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of glue to join the pages together just here in the middle. So I'm just using Mod Podge, which is a regular sort of glue. You can find it in most stores. And I'm just going to paint that on here. Try to go right to the edges, just to ensure you get a very good bind between the 2 pages, and we stick them together like so. Now what I'd probably recommend doing is leaving that to dry for a little bit of time, but the one I've made here, you can't even see that join. Isn't it fabulous? The join's actually here, but where the 2 pages are stuck together, it really is quite invisible. So we need a cover for our wonderful book, and we need a little bit of ribbon. So what we need are 2 little squares that are just slightly larger than our 5 centimeters by 4 centimeters. And here what you can do is really select some interesting pieces of your pattern making. So I'm going to want something that's about 4.5 centimeters in width. So let's cut that. And we're going to want it about 5.5 centimeters in height. We can always trim it a little smaller if we need. Let's trim that. Wonderful. So I've got front and and a back. And again, you can play with which way round you want these pieces. I quite like that. So what we need to do is find which is our back piece and put it so that the plain side is facing up, and then find our little bit of ribbon. This spotty one will do. I've done this in two different ways. You can either stick it on the outside, but I think what looks quite fabulous is having it stuck so that it runs inside here. So let me cut a nice piece of ribbon that's rather large. I'm just going to use my knife again to do that. And we want to glue it in the center here of our back cover. So I'm just going to run a little blob of glue. Actually, I need the whole thing covered. I would probably incline towards putting a little bit extra in the middle. And then we set this with the wrong side of the ribbon facing up. We can then place our sketchbook page. I'm going to scoop that back together. I think. So I'm going to stick this just down on here. I'm going to pop a little bit more extra glue on top of the ribbon, and I'm going to stick that right down in the center. I'm then going to get some more glue, pop it on this page here, the top, and then this can go there. Lovely. Now what I would do is find a very heavy book and just leave that for probably overnight or at least a couple of hours under a very heavy book to secure and to dry. It just needs to give the glue a little bit of time to dry, but essentially once that is dry and your pages are stuck, you have your beautiful little miniature sketchbook, and then you can simply do your little ribbon up and you've got your little miniature concertina sketchbook. So I hope you agree with me that these are the cutest little sketchbooks in the world. And the wonderful thing is that you can personalize these as much as you want. You can create different covers like I have here, make them a different number of pages long, and also create them in different sizes to suit your sketching style. Now, if you would like some suggestions for things to sketch in your tiny sketchbooks now that you have your own, check out my video 5 things to sketch in 5 minutes. This video details 5 separate sketching exercises that you can try in your sketchbooks. And don't forget to leave me a comment and share your mini sketchbooks with me when you've created them. I'll see you in the next video, and happy sketching, everybody.